This is Ayushi Maheshwari. Welcome to you all to my channel Physio Gyan. Our today's topic is axillary artery. In this video, I am going to explain you about the anatomy of the axillary artery, its extent, its courses, branches and applied power. So before moving on, do not forget to like my video, share it with your colleagues and subscribe Physio Gyan. As you all know, arteries are the blood vessels that carries oxygenated blood from the heart and supplies to the various parts of the body. So, axillary artery is also a type of artery that carries oxygenated blood and supplies to the various parts of the body. These are thorax, upper lip and armpit, which is also known as the axilla. So the axillary artery is a continuation of the subclavian artery. It starts from the lateral border of the first rib and extends to the lower border of the teres minor muscle. Its extent is from the lateral border of the first rib to the lower border of the teres minor muscle. As it moves downward from the teres minor muscle, it continues as the brachial artery. Teres minor muscle के ऊपर तक इसका नाम axillary artery है और lateral border of the first rib के ऊपर तक इसका नाम subclavian artery है. जैसे ये teres minor muscle को क्रॉस करती है, इसका नाम चेंज होकर brachial artery बन जाता है. So to understand this, you need to understand a bit about the subclavian artery. So this is the diagram of the arch of the aorta. As you all know, this is the arch part. This is the ascending aorta. This is the descending aorta. This is your left coronary artery. This is your right coronary artery. This is your left subclavian artery. This is your left common carotid artery. This is the branch of the brachio cephalic artery. This is the right subclavian artery. This is the right common carotid artery. So in this diagram, you can see the left subclavian artery is a branch of the arch of aorta. But the right subclavian artery is not the part of the branch of the aorta. From the arch of aorta, one branch is there that is known as the brachiocephalic artery. From there, the right subclavian artery is arising. That means brachiocephalic artery जो है वो arch of aorta का part है, उसमें से दो branches निकल रही है जिसका part right subclavian artery है. So these both the arteries, right and the left subclavian arteries, extends further, supplies the subclavius muscle and the surrounding muscles, and as they move from the lateral border of the first rib, and it turns into the axillary artery. So the axillary artery can be divided into three segments and named on the basis of the pectoralis minor muscle location. That means pectoralis minor muscle is used as a landmark to name these three parts. I will explain you how. Okay, so these three are the parts of the axillary artery which are named as first part, second part, third part, related to the location of the pectoralis minor muscle. So if this is your pectoralis minor muscle, this is the belly of the muscle. Okay, and this is your artery passing from here. So the part which is above or superior to the pectoralis minor muscle, this is your P minor muscle, this is the muscle belly. So the part which is superior or which is near to the pectoralis minor muscle, we can name it as the first part, and though it is superior, क्योंकि ये ऊपर है, तो हम कैसे कहेंगे superior to pectoralis minor muscle. And the second part, this part, in this, your axillary artery is behind the P minor muscle, so we can name the second part as behind to P minor muscle. P minor is your pectoralis minor, and the remaining, this is the third part, which is lateral or away from the pectoralis minor muscle or inferior, यानी नीचे जो है pectoralis minor muscle के, this is called as inferior to pectoralis minor muscle. So in this way, your three of the parts are described on the basis of the pectoralis minor muscle, and all these three parts are combinedly carries the oxygenated blood and supplies to the various parts, which are thorax, upper limb, and the axilla or the armpit. Along with these, the axillary vein, beside them there is an axillary vein which takes the blood from the different parts of the body and drains into the heart. Okay, so guys, now we are moving on towards the details of the branches of the axillary artery. Those are the first part, second part and third part. I am going to explain you that in the order. So this is the diagram of the pectoralis minor muscle. So this is your subclavian artery, which is present before the rib. When it crosses the lateral border of the first rib, it turns into the axillary artery. This is your first rib. Okay. Okay, so the first part gives rise to the superior thoracic artery. This is superior thoracic artery. This branch is very close to the subclavius muscle, so it supplies the subclavius muscle, pectoral branches, the pectoral muscles, and the part of the mammaries. So now, and the superior thoracic wall as well. So now moving on towards the second part. So this part is above the, that means it is superior to the pectoralis minor muscle. So it is named as the first part. This is the first part. Okay, so now moving on towards the second part. This is second part gives rise to the two branches. Thoracoacromial branch and the lateral thoracic branch. So first we will deal with the thoracoacromial branch. The thoracoacromial branch moves on towards the pectoralis minor muscle, pierces the clavipectoral fascia and supplies the trunk, mammaries and the upper limb. But this thoracoacromial branches also have four parts: clavicular branch, acromial branch, pectoral branch and the deltoid branch. So this one is the clavicular branch. So the clavicular branch is close to the clavicle and extends superomedially towards the sternoclavicular joint and supplies the joint and the subclavius muscle, which is present on the posterior aspect of the clavicle. Now the acromial branch. The axillary artery supplies the oxygenated blood through the acromial branch to the acromial area over the deltoid muscle. After supplying the deltoid muscle, this branch pierces the deltoid muscle and forms the anastomosis with the acromial arteries further, which is this all is towards the lateral border, of the coracoid process. This is your coracoid process from where your pectoralis minor muscle is arising. This is your coracoid process, and this one is the acromial branch. Okay, so as the second part is behind the pectoralis minor muscle, so it is called as the behind to pectoralis minor muscle. So I explained you two branches, the clavicular branch and the acromial branch. Next is the pectoral branch. As the branch of the thoracoacromial artery supplies the pectoral muscle and the memories, so it is called as the pectoral branch. So this one is your pectoral branch. So proceeding towards, next is the remaining deltoid branch. This one is your deltoid branch. Supplying oxygenated blood to the deltoid muscle and the surrounding muscles. So to remember the branches of the thoracoacromial artery, these are the clavicular branch, acromial branch, deltoid branch and the pectoral branch. I have a mnemonic, that is, cadavers are dead people. Can you remember it easily? Cadavers are dead people. Cadaver C for clavicular branch, A for the acromial branch, D for the deltoid branch and P for the pectoral branch. Okay, so now moving on. As I told you, the second part has two branches, the thoracoacromial branch and the lateral thoracic branch. So this one is the lateral thoracic branch, which is moving on at the lateral border or the lower border of the pectoralis minor muscle. जो हमारा lateral thoracic artery का जो branch है, वो पूरा pectoralis minor muscle के lower border पे continue कर रहा है. And this supplies the oxygenated blood to the serratus anterior muscle, subscapularis, all the pectoralis muscles and the memories. So this was your second part. So after the first part and the second part, the artery continues as a third part up to the teres major muscle. So when it continues below the pectoralis minor muscle, it is called as the inferior to pectoralis minor muscle and the third part. Third part gives to three branches. First is subscapular branch. It again has two parts. This is the third part continuing and this is the subscapular branch. This subscapular branch continues with the subscapularis muscle and supplies the various muscles of the scapula and around the scapula. So this subscapular branch again have two parts, circumflex branch and thoracodorsal branch, or you can call it as the circumflex artery or the thoracodorsal artery. So this one is the circumflex scapular artery and this one is the thoracodorsal artery. Circumflex scapular artery and thoracodorsal artery. So this was the first branch of the third part, and the second and the third one is the posterior and anterior circumflex humeral artery. So these are your posterior and circumflex humeral artery. This is the posterior one and this is your anterior one. The anterior circumflex humeral artery arising from the third part and winding to the anterior part of the humerus and moving on towards the posterior side. And this posterior circumflex humeral artery winding from the posterior side of the surgical neck of the humerus. Both of these anterior and posterior wind anterior and posterior side of the surgical neck of the humerus respectively and forms the anastomosis over there. So this was your axillary artery and with its three parts, and this is the teres major muscle. When this axillary arteries crosses the teres major muscle, now this axillary artery changes its name to brachial artery. So this is now turned into the brachial artery, moving on further, extending, supplying the humerus. So save the lions and protect the species. Is it a mnemonic? Yes, it is a mnemonic. Save the lions and protect species. Save superior thoracic artery, the thoracoacromial artery which gives 4 branches. L, lateral thoracic artery, this one which is the part of the second part of the second part. A, anterior circumflex humeral artery. P, posterior circumflex humeral artery. S, the subscapular branch, or you can say the subscapular artery. So this was the axillary artery, and moving on towards the applied part. If you get injured with the axillary artery, as you all know that you can feel the pulsation over the axilla part when you put the lateral border, or when you put the hand over the lateral border of the axilla. But if this is injured, you cannot feel the pulsation, and injuries are common in the posterior dislocation of the shoulder. So this was the axillary artery. I hope I helped you with your notes. So please share my video.